Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Patrick.
And I'm Allie.
Welcome to Work Our Way.
If you're just joining us, this is a story about two veterans who quit their 9-to-5 jobs in the States to live full-time in Australia out of a van named Fatty.
Yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride so far.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, chronicles our adventure through travel, our adventure through our relationship, and
through comedy.
Comedy and content creation. So
Ooh.
welcome, guys. If you guys are new-time listeners, we're happy to have you.
And for our listeners who are crushing it with the comments and reviews, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Brittany Zeeler, I saw that you posted something. Your good friend from Aviano, miss you. Sarah Woolley, shout out to you, my old roommate from college. It's just so cool to see like old friends hopping on the bandwagon of Work Our Way.
Big time shout out to everyone who's left a review. It helps us a ton. Guys,
yes.
If you want to know how to support the show and you haven't left us a review, give us 5 stars, write something nice. We'll definitely read it. We'll give you a shout out if you want.
Yeah.
Friends, family, strangers even, do it, please. And if you guys have left a review and you still like the content we're putting out, get somebody else to listen. All right, our listenership is growing steadily but slowly.
Yeah, just ask to borrow someone's phone and then just figure out their password, go into Apple iTunes Podcasts, subscribe while they're not looking, and that would help us so much. So
it honestly would.
Do that,
convince somebody else to listen.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is our second try. So this is while we're thanking you guys, I guess we should be completely honest. We're late on this episode.
We are. Yep, and there's a reason for it.
Well, there's a couple of reasons, but So we recorded one. The internet's not great, and we recorded it last night, and we didn't have the greatest time. We just did pretty bad, and we kind of bickered a little bit. We fought. I steamrolled Allie on a lot of subjects. I'm a blowhard sometimes. And Allie's content wasn't great either.
No, it wasn't. No, I don't know how, but we started just talking about weird shit, and we recorded it. And usually we record once, and we don't even listen to it. We're like, it's good, it's done, let's get it out there. But we listened to it a little bit, and it was it was cringy.
Bad content and not good quality conversation, and we were kind of at each other's throats a little bit.
We were. It was weird, and that's the thing. That's the thing about living in a van all the time around someone in such a small space is sometimes you just wait until you're recording a podcast to let some stuff
and you're like, oh
out.
yeah, I hate you today. That's how Allie felt about me.
But it's all good. Things are great.
Yeah,
and we're coming at you round 2.
Round 2, feeling better about each other.
We got a full night's sleep last night. We're doing this in the morning. So it's just, I'm so excited for this.
I think you were cranky yesterday.
Oh, I for sure was.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as cranky. I was surprised at how mad you were at me at the end of the podcast. so
I just walked away. I was like,
uh-oh.
I was like, I'm going to find somewhere to work on my laptop at 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have those moments, but it's all good now. Like, we're great.
We chatted it out.
Yeah.
We worked out yesterday, so we're sore. We're tired. It's hot as hell in this stupid country.
I understand now why everything's burning. We're in Canberra, and it's just so hot.
Yeah, I'm a sweaty bag of shit right now.
Yeah, for those watching on YouTube, you can probably see the glisten coming in. We're only like 3 minutes into the podcast.
The glisten and listen.
It's gonna get worse, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's what we should have named our podcast.
Glisten and listen.
The listen and glisten.
Well, maybe we'll use it for this one.
Maybe.
We have so many options now that we're redoing it.
Yeah, now that we don't have to abide by the awful one we did yesterday.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, so before we get into where we're at and where we came from and our adventures over the last week, I do have an announcement to make. I gotta get something off my chest.
What is it?
So, it's kind of hard to do in front of you, in front of everyone, but I have to say, I was wrong.
I'm sorry, I honestly don't think the microphone picked that up.
I was wrong. During the last episode, made some pretty unfair and mischaracterizing judgments about manta rays. We had a whole discussion about it, And you told me that manta rays didn't have pinchers. They had little face antennas that they used to look for food.
Like nurse sharks, yeah.
But I truly thought in my
Sensors.
mind that manta rays were like this horrible creature that used their pinchers to like hold humans underwater so they could stab them in the heart with their tail.
Yeah, it's surprising to me that you didn't think that stingrays were the dangerous one. With, sting in the name.
Well, I still think they're dangerous, but I just thought that manta rays were like this whole other creature that apparently they don't exist. Manta rays are super kind and friendly, and I feel like my comments came off as ignorant and a little polarizing, and I think that I probably offended some manta rays out there. So I just want to say I was wrong, and I'm so sorry. I had a lapse in judgment. These comments are not indicative of my character and who I am as a person, and I'm going to take what I learned and hopefully become a better person.
Yeah, well, you guys might be surprised to hear her say that she's wrong. It's the first time she's done that on the podcast. It's also the first time she's done that. Period. It's the first time she's ever admitted that she's wrong.
Well, that's because I'm usually never wrong.
Well, oh, my word. My word. We're going to fight again after this one.
It's not over yet.
Yeah, no, round 2, bitch.
Round 2, the same fight. Oh my god. So let's talk about how we got here. We left off.
Do we want to talk about our first impression of Canberra?
Oh, Canberra. That's right. We are in a new city. We're coming at you live from a smoke cloud because there's a fire very close by.
Yeah, it smells, it stinks like everything's on fire.
Yeah.
This country is hell.
This country is flat.
Yeah.
Canberra is no different. So for those of you that don't know, Canberra is the capital of Australia. They have their own little capital state, and Canberra's in the middle of it.
The Australian Capital Territory.
Yes, ACT. And yeah, we're here. Pat's got a couple shows coming up, but we're also here because they're legalizing weed on the 31st.
Yeah.
And we just want to see what that even looks like.
Yeah, they got bush fires, but let's see if they got fire bush.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, that was stupid.
But Canberra is interesting. We got here on Australia Day weekend, which is like the 4th of July equivalent in Australia.
Well, yeah, it's the day. It's a weird holiday for them.
Yeah. Because
they have a very strange. They have a sordid history with the Aboriginal culture here.
Yes.
Which is like kind of it's interesting to see how that we turned on the television for like the first time a couple days ago when we were in Coober Pedy, which we'll talk about, and they had like commercials for Australia Day that like acknowledges that Australia's got a strange history and that Australia Day means like a different thing for different people, and like that doesn't negate what it means to you. And it was all like Australia Day is like sensitive for me, and it's like Australia Day brings back glorious memories. It's like all different like people, and it's like and I was like, oh, this is very interesting. They're nationally acknowledging the fact that though this is a great country, this country is by and large stolen.
For sure.
Yeah. And I thought that was like an interesting and cool balance.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, because obviously there's a lot of similarities between that and the U.S. and the Native Americans a little bit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So it is interesting. Every town that we go to, somewhere on like the sign or the plaque, they also have the Aboriginal name for that town. Like they are very embracing on where they came from, where the reason that Australia was able to flourish was because of Aboriginals.
Yeah, and they, like, the things that we've done, for the most part, they acknowledge right up front before we get started. Remember, like, shark diving? Mm-hmm. They're like, all right, so, we're here, we're going to do some shark diving, but let's go through a little bit of the lineage and understand that this land was occupied before we got here, and here's some of the significant history as it applies to Aboriginal culture.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of I think that's cool. I think that is like, plus it adds like just a deeper history and like meaning behind everything. Like the United States has a very shallow history, and when I say shallow, it means like it's not a long history.
No.
Like 1776 is about, the Revolutionary War. But that wasn't that long ago. You go to other places like Europe, like they're buildings that are hundreds and hundreds of years old. And you're like, we don't have anything like that. Not in the United States. You go to Asia, China, and it's just like, holy shit, you guys are keeping track of shit that happened 3,000 years ago? You guys are crazy.
Yeah.
And like, when you see how long history is in other countries, it's like, wow, we should acknowledge a lot more of the history that was there before we got there. It'll keep us it keeps you honest and keeps you understanding of like, oh, this land wasn't ours. This land is like changes hands.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I don't know. You don't put your cultural identity onto everything. Your cultural identity is impacted more than you're impacting. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think
Absolutely.
That's just a smart give and take of how it should roll.
Yeah, I think as much as we sometimes make fun of Australia because of how weird and quirky they are, I think they do get that right.
They are, but they are still kind of racist. They are super racist.
For sure.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about some of that, how we saw some of that play out.
Yeah.
But so with all that being said, they acknowledge quite a bit the role of Aboriginal culture in everything that they do. The lifeguarding competition they had on the sign, it was like, this, welcome to the lifeguarding competition. But also, before this was a pool, this was a Aboriginal land that was, these people were on it.
That
and all
we took.
Yeah. And that being said, people here are still racist.
For sure.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. It's still very polarizing. I mean, we went to... we'll get into it, but Coober Pedy had a bar for whites and a bar for Aboriginals. Yeah. Which I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
I haven't seen that in ever in America.
Yep.
Like that's just a little wild. So we'll get to all of that. We're just teasing.
We're teasing. We're racism free guys. You guys like racism?
Yeah, right. Then listen to this one.
So we get to Canberra. We see a bunch of nerds LARPing. If you guys don't know what LARPing is, we walk by a park and there's just LARPing is live action role playing, and it's for I think mostly virgins.
Yeah, it's the most embarrassing thing you can do.
I don't know. It's I mean, they do seem like they're having fun. They just dress up like their favorite Dark Ages Lord of the Rings anime character and bop each other with foam swords. And like that's just shit like white nerds do.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't see any other race do that.
No.
That's a blemish on the old on white people for sure.
Yeah.
And you don't see that you don't even see that white people do that shit in multicultural places. You only see that where there's too many white people.
Exactly.
It's like devil sticks and slacklining.
Yeah.
It's like the shit white people wouldn't be doing if there were other cultures around them to make fun of them.
No way. You would never do that if your black friend was walking by.
No.
You would get harassed for the
roasted.
rest of your life.
Yeah, you'd be like, what the fuck?
For the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So they were doing that, and they were having a good time.
Yep. So I filed that one away and thought oh man, Canberra's going to be like embarrassingly white. This is going to be another one of those places where it's just like, ugh.
Yep, typical Australia, but it wasn't.
And then, I just see maybe 100 yards up a pretty jacked black dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Hell yeah, jacked black dude. Because unless you guys travel a lot, you don't realize America has the coolest black dudes.
Truly. And I'm not just saying that because we're from there.
Yeah.
That's how it be.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's most of the black people here look like they could win a marathon. They're not. You're not like, wow, yeah, cool. You guys want to hit the gym or whatever? Yeah. Are you guys good athletes?
You want to play football?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Maybe not. You look like you could break in half.
Yeah,
Sorry,
they're not your first pick. Not for gym class first pick. So I see this Jack Black dude who's talking to another, could be Maori, like a Pacific Islander, but also jacked, but has a biker vibe. Mm-hmm. And they're talking, and before I can get the full thought of wow, that's a pretty jacked black dude all the way through my head, the biker hauls off and punches this guy as hard as he can in the face.
In the face.
And then follows it up with it was a right hand followed by a left, and the right hand connected.
Yeah.
And then the left just glanced off the dude's forehead, and the dude did nothing.
He couldn't. That guy was huge.
Yeah.
He would have died right on that street corner.
Yeah, and we didn't know what was about to happen, and they talked for another 10 seconds, and then they walked away, and the guy got on his motorcycle and drove away.
And that was that.
And that was that, and I was like, holy shit.
Like 30 seconds.
I like Canberra. This is the coolest city I've been to in Australia.
Oh, for real though. And then we went to a bar, and it was Australian Day weekend, so a lot of people were out, and we had some pizza, we were drinking, and we saw so many Australian military young blowhard, high and tight douchebags.
It's young go hard is the term.
It's blowhard.
Blowhard. They may have been blowing each other. They had that vibe.
They did.
It's like when they get drunk, they're hanging on each other, and there's 10 dudes walking in all at the same time, not a woman to be found.
Yep.
A true sausage fest.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they all just get hammered drunk, not a hint of irony. And it's as gay as they can be without fucking each other.
Yeah, it's raising their toe on the line.
It is so funny.
And there's no other career where I see that happen. Like, it's not like you got dudes at Target all hanging out at the same bar.
Yeah, a bunch of accountants.
Not trying to get laid. Yeah, exactly. IT tech.
Let's go out, 10 of us together. We'll meet some girls. They'll love it.
I only see that in the military. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense because we Googled what was up, and the Australian Defence Force Academy is here.
Yeah, their military academy is out here.
Yeah, which just brings back such great memories.
It's just so funny because I'm a little bit that. I definitely used to be that dude.
For sure.
Yeah, and I'm still a little bit that dude.
A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't drink as much, and I don't go out and party really that hard, but it's so funny to see it from the outside.
Yeah.
Because they're just so obvious. They're like in pretty good shape. They all have bad haircuts. Mm-hmm. One or two of them will have a mustache.
Yep.
And there's not a woman to be found. And if you see that, it's like, oh, these guys are either in the military or definitely gay.
Mm-hmm. It's got to be one of those
Yeah,
two.
it's like a weird Venn diagram where they have a lot in common.
Yeah, there aren't that many people who own Hawaiian shirts and all decide to go out at the same time.
Tight haircuts, yeah, in good shape.
Yeah.
Occasional mustache. It's like, that's a gay man. Or a military guy.
Or a military. Probably more likely military.
Yeah.
So that was good fun.
Yeah, heaps of fun.
Oh,
heaps of good fun.
Heaps of it. Oh, yeah. So that's Canberra. First impressions, not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Dig it.
Pretty fun.
So, where do we leave off? Last week, we were heading to Coober Pedy, which is this town in the middle of the outback. But before we got there, we were at a place called Lucky Bay.
Yes.
Which, honestly, Lucky Bay is about 70 kilometers east of Esperance, which we love. Beautiful beaches. And we went there because supposedly it's the most beautiful beach in Australia.
I mean, I haven't seen anything that outdoes it. It was gorgeous.
It was great. It was like a color of blue I've never seen before. You have to pay like $15 for a day permit to get there, but it was so beautiful. And the best part is they have kangaroos on the beach.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So we hung out with them most of the time. And
when they would let us, they didn't really like us that much.
No, they're not huge fans of humans, I think.
No.
We admire them way more than they admire us.
Yeah.
So, but that was still fun. Lucky Bay, good stop. You can camp right on the beach there.
Yeah, if we could have driven, if Fatty had 4-wheel drive, or if we just trusted her, we would have driven out onto the beach and then just grabbed a spot and stayed the night.
Yeah, but
we don't.
Fatty.
Yeah, but
she's got to lose some weight if we want to try that.
Yeah.
Bogged down. Little big girl.
Yeah. But it was gorgeous. There's some kids surfing, which, I mean, those are just little bite-sized snacks for sharks. Mm-hmm. That's shark territory over there.
Oh,
that's
love
right
that
by
shit.
Esperance that has sharks regularly.
All the time.
Yeah.
To the point where they have signs out.
Yeah.
Regulars. So yeah, if you're brave and you want to go for a swim, go for it. Otherwise, just chill on the beach, hang out with some roos, and have a good time in Lucky Bay.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
It's gorgeous. You've read some reviews of the campground there.
Oh, yeah. They do have a campground there. I don't know how much you have to pay. We didn't stay there. But I was on Google reviews, and I just saw they had 1,000,000 one-star reviews because I guess there's like this couple that owns it who are just horrible human beings. And I don't know, I'm just going off of the reviews, but people were like, they were screaming at people at 2 a.m. They're super racist.
Oh boy.
They're like, they're just, these people should not be in a position of power. And I'm like, all right, well, cool.
Yeah, so we didn't stay the night there, yeah. And we pressed on to where?
Penong.
Yeah,
I think that was our next spot. Penong, which you would think is a Taiwanese town, but nope, still super white.
Just right by the Nullarbor. Super white, yeah.
Yeah, we ended up
proudly white, and that's not what you want to be.
No.
You don't want to be that version.
No, we didn't really go there by choice. We needed a place where we could upload the last episode because we recorded it in the Nullarbor where there was no service. So we went to a bar across the street from a gas station, asked to use the Wi-Fi, sat down, and it was just a wild ride from there. Oh,
it was just so fun. There was a little 60 to 70-year-old woman crushing wines.
At like 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah, what she was doing she was stopped there for a couple of days, so she was like talking about how she enjoyed it, talking to the bartender, talking about Penong being paradise. Yeah, this place is in the middle of nowhere, guys. On the Nullarbor, which is Latin for no trees. Yeah. This is paradise.
Yep. But perspective, I guess.
I guess. One man's paradise is another man's hell.
But she was talking to the bartender, and they had a very interesting discussion about religion, which is always a good talk, always a good chat with strangers. But she was saying that she believes, she was like, I just believe that when people die, they inhabit other humans or other animals, who's to say, but you reincarnate yourself.
Yeah, your soul comes back into another, you live multiple lives, and then your soul comes back, and it goes into another human. And the bartender was having none of it. He was just like, alright, yeah, whatever resonates with you, I can understand why you read that and you liked it. But let me ask you something. If population continues to grow, where the hell do the other souls come from? Huh? Doesn't make any sense. But whatever resonates with you, I can understand why you believe it. But it is bloody stupid.
He was just poking holes in her very innocent argument about reincarnation.
And she was just like kind of flabbergasted. She's like, well, it seemed to make a lot of sense when I read it. He's like, I bet it did, you fucking moron. You bloody moron.
Oh, and the conversation just got better from there, because at that point, she was talking to us, and we were like, we're going out east to help with the fires, and she's like, oh my god, the bushfires have been so horrendous. My friend had lost her home, she lost everything, it was just so crazy, the bushfires, they're everywhere.
And we're like agreeing, we're like, yeah, no, it's awful. It's crazy that the bushfire just keeps spreading and the people are losing so much, and like the animals are dying, and it's devastating. And the bartender again with his wild take just slams the bar. He's like, guys, this is Australia, alright? Plants need smoke and fire to grow, alright? It's the main food group of fucking plants here in Australia.
And the woman's like, but my friend lost everything. Everything's destroyed. Her home, everything she's worked for.
Homes need fire to grow. Right? Her house is going to come back even stronger. More agile. Thicker vegetation. Alright? Smoke is the main food group of most plants and houses.
I just didn't realize that people sided with the bushfires.
It's the first time I heard anybody like pro-bush. Like, what? Do you want the bushfires? Like, yes, I do. You need it for the plants.
And then the conversation ended with us telling him we were going to Port Augusta, which is a town on the way to Coober Pedy, and he's like, "Oi, you mean Port Augusta?"
Port Augusta.
That's what we call it because of the indigenous folk. And
I was like,
"Whoa,
whoa, dude."
So you're against climate change, you're racist, and super religious.
You're pro? He's not even super religious.
I've
just
seen those people before.
Anti-reincarnation, pro-bushfire, and anti-indigenous folk. It was just like, wow, dude, you are... What voting pool do you sit in?
Yeah, that sounds like a Trump supporter a little bit.
Does it?
A little bit.
All right. Sorry out there, Trump supporters.
Yeah, no.
You're pro-fire.
It's anti-climate change. No, that was a good laugh, though. We had a really good time with that.
Oh, yeah, we've been doing impressions of that guy ever since.
Yep, nonstop. But that was Penong, so, 2 out of 5 stars, but 10 out of 10.
2 out of 5 is... That's a Bonner high watermark rating, okay? If you listen to the last episode, you got to give an accurate rating if you mean it's negative. It can't be 2 out of 5 anymore. That's shorthand for best ever.
Yeah, that means best ever. I suppose you're right.
So what? 1.5?
Yeah, 1. 1 out of 5. 2 out of 10. Whatever you want.
Good burger, though. They make
not
a good
bad.
burger in Penong.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And then it was on to the Outback, which is where things started to get a little buck wild.
I'll tell you, I'm done with the Outback.
Yeah, that was enough for us. 6 hours into it, you only need to really drive 1 hour in the Outback to really get a sense of what it's about. And it's just nuts. Like, we saw so many little dust tornadoes.
Whirly willies.
Whatever those are. We actually had to slow down for one of them to cross the road once. And I was like, I've never had to slow down because of wind.
Yeah, one of them, they're like little tornadoes. You wouldn't expect them to be so goddamn powerful, but one of them almost pulled us right off the road.
Yeah.
The road.
Yeah.
You need dust storms to make your car stronger. Right? This is Australia. Your car needs dust storms to grow.
Yeah, I've just never had to be courteous to wind before. That's a new one.
Yeah.
It's a new one for me. But another thing they're known for are flies. They have a ton of flies in the Outback. And the flies in Australia are super rude compared to the flies in the U.S. The flies in the States, they don't actively try to enter every single hole that you have.
Yuck.
Like, I've been violated by so many flies here. They're trying to get in your nose, in your ears, in your booty hole. It's just nothing safe.
Nothing.
And it's very frustrating. Makes it hard to exist, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yep, I got a lot of flies in my booty hole.
They're just in there. Stuck there. They live there now. But the roadkill's also a little nuts. Roadkill is just scary. Like, you if you see a kangaroo on the side of the road that just got hit anywhere else in Australia, it still looks like a kangaroo. But in the Outback, if you see any sort of roadkill, kangaroos included, they look like that scene from Batman Dark Knight where the Joker goes into the hospital to visit his pal Two-Face.
Oh, yeah. Rachel!
Half his face is normal, and the other half, he's just got his eyes sticking out and his, skin and skeleton poking through.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. It's like a thing from, a nightmare.
Yeah, fuck the Outback. I'm done with the Outback. Unless they're serving me bloomin' onions and good brown bread.
Brown bread.
I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
Yeah, not a great place. But Coober Pedy, that place was weird. Coober Pedy.
Yeah, Coober
Pedy was weird.
So Coober Pedy is a mining town that exists. It's so, oh my god, it's hot. And it's like the only way you can survive there. They dig into the earth, and that's where they've made their houses. Like animals. Mm-hmm. Like they've burrowed into rocks and caves, and they've just made little dwellings underground.
Just to survive, because it's so hot.
Brutal.
It's like 115 degrees up there.
Yeah, it's the only place that I've been to on Earth where hell is above you.
Truly.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And we stayed in an Airbnb our first night, which was great, but the Airbnb host sent me an email with a list of things to do. And one of the things that she said, and I showed this to Pat, I was like, this is nuts. She said, go to the golf course. It's one of our main attractions. But please, if you do go, stay in your car. Because if you leave your car and step outside, you could fall down a mine shaft.
Yeah. And you know what they're mining for? Opal.
Yeah.
Which, like, who gives a fuck?
Was never cool.
Yeah, what am I, a 60-year-old divorced woman?
Yeah.
Why do I care about opals?
Yeah. But that's all they have there.
No
diamonds, no gold.
They might have gold.
Maybe. But they don't advertise it. They're like, come here for the opals.
And I was like, no. Man, I can go to my grandma's house for that.
Yeah.
If it was the opals.
Get it for free.
Yeah.
God, but it's nuts. They got signs everywhere about these mine shafts. They're like, don't walk forward. Don't walk backwards. Don't lay down. Don't get out of your car.
Go underground.
It's the only place you're safe.
Yeah. The entire town they do meth, too. It's like, nobody looks healthy there. Mm-mm. I don't know. Most of the place was closed and dilapidated, and it was uncomfortable. If we didn't have to shoot there, I would have been like, let's just go home.
Yeah, I know we just drove 6 hours, but I think we're good.
I think we get it. I think we get it. I think we understand. We went to a place called the Breakaways, which was like supposed to be this huge and majestic terrain feature out in the middle of the desert. And we go, it's just like a couple of hills.
That's it.
A couple of small cliffs.
Which we could see anywhere in the world.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's their main attraction?
Let's go
A
home.
hill? In the desert?
Get me back underground, please.
Yeah, we went to a place called Crocodile Harry's.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was like some home of some guy who actually existed, who's dead now.
Yeah,
that
that's the guy, from what I understand, it's the guy that Crocodile Dundee was based off of. Mm-hmm. And he wrangled crocs up in the Northern Territory, but he was also a writer. And so he came out to Coober Pedy for the solitude, kind of.
Meth.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know if it was... When did meth come online? Because I think he was... all those pictures were pretty old.
Yeah.
Of him. So I think this was before meth. So I think he just wanted to drink and write in solitude. And Coober Pedy was kind of still a tourist trap back when he was there. So he's been dead for, I don't know, 10 years or so. Mm-hmm. But his little cave dwelling is still there, and it's like completely untouched. You can just go in, check it out. His typewriter's there, his bed's there, his library. Like, it's kind of cool. People sign the inside of it. There's like carvings of women into the cave with their tits out.
Yep.
And it's like, you go over to his bed, and he's just got a collection of women's panties.
Yep.
And it was just like, whoa, okay, so this guy just came out here and fucked tourists. And there's like pictures all over the wall of the women he's banged, their tits out.
Exactly.
Like, oh my God. We were talking to the woman who runs Faye's Underground house.
It was another place where we just did some shooting, another home that you can tour.
And I was like, so what's the deal with Crocodile Harry? And she's like, oi, Crocodile Harry, he was just a dirty old man. You saw all the underwear over there by his bed? I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, he would just have tourists, and he'd take them back to his little cave, and he'd have a root. He'd just have a root with him. I was like, oh, shit.
She sounded a little jealous.
She was definitely bitter, because she was no spring chicken herself, and I don't think Dirty Harry was tossing her her old crocodile. Little hungry croc.
His old crocodile.
Yeah, she was crocodile hungry is what she was.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yeah, bless her overweight, over-enlarged heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was pretty bitter, pretty jealous, I think.
Yeah, what else did we see there? There's a bunch of movies that were filmed there.
Yeah.
There's
See if you can remember them.
Oh boy, this is it. There's a kung fu movie that recently...
A kung fu.
Mortal Kombat? Is that
Mortal
what it was?
Kombat, yeah. The new Mortal Kombat was just filmed there. So that's the most recent.
Yep.
I think one of the oldest ones filmed there was Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah, Pitch Black with
Pitch
Vin
Black,
Diesel.
yep. That movie that nobody saw. The Chronicle of Riddick movie. Vin Diesel can only be in movies that Vin Diesel's already been in. He'll only ever do like Chronicles of Riddick and Fast and Furious movies. Those are the only ones he'll be in.
But they still had the spaceship there from one of the movies.
Yeah, the Chronicles of Riddick one. And then there was one more that I can't remember. Something with Val Kilmer. Deep Impact?
Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Deep Impact, where they go to... A Val Kilmer movie
Mars?
where they go to Mars. Yeah. With Benjamin Bratt. He was also in it. His star fizzled out.
Yeah.
I miss him. I miss Ben. Guys, write in. Tell me how much you miss Benjamin Bratt. Give me your best Benjamin Bratt stories. Law and Order.
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, so Coober Pedy, all in all, though, very hot. So hot. I mean, I just don't understand why people
It was like
work there.
45 degrees Celsius. And I'll do the math for you if you want it in Fahrenheit. That's 2 million degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
All right?
It's unbelievable. Like, and people say, oh, well, a lot of people, they live there because of the mining, because the mining, it pays well. You got a salary, you got benefits. And I was like, if someone came up to me and was like, hey, I'm going to give you a job with benefits, all you have to do is go into your basement, open your furnace door, get inside, and live there for the rest of your life, I would probably say no.
Yeah, every crack, every crease, every fold on my body was a sloppy mess.
Yeah.
It was, I was dripping the entire time. I didn't want to go, I wanted to stay underground. I didn't want to go on the Earth's surface. Mm-hmm. Because they built everything underground. There was a hotel underground.
Yeah, there's bars, churches.
The church was creepy.
That was creepy. We went to a Serbian church.
Yeah, there's like Serbians and Croats. Eastern European people, yeah. People fleeing genocide moved to Coober Pedy to mine. That's
it's all starting to make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But no places had people. They were legitimate attractions that you could just go in. All the doors were unlocked, and you could just do whatever you wanted. There wasn't a single human there to monitor what you were doing.
Nope.
And we were too afraid that, like, the mob was going to come after us if we did do something bad, so we didn't. But you could have. I'm surprised that these places aren't just filled with homeless meth heads.
Yeah, you could do whatever you want. You want to murder your spouse? Take her to Coober Pedy. Just
that's
go walking around.
For that.
Yeah, that's a murder spouse.
Yeah, if you just leave her outside, her corpse outside, it'll be devoured.
Go for a hike, and then one of you falls, if you can't see me, I'm air quoting, falls down a mine shaft.
Yep.
There you go. It's the spouse murder capital of the world.
So we got out of there. So we're out of there. We're safe. We didn't murder each other.
Yeah.
We're good.
Is that all there was at Coober Pedy? We did some filming. So you had a taste-made video. So look for that.
Yep.
I posted... I had my first speaking role in one of Allie's taste-made videos.
Yeah.
Where I had 3 lines that I got to say. Would you live here? Could you live here? And would you live underground? And we did about 50 million takes of that, and Allie made a nice little supercut of me just, would you live here? Could you live here? Would you live underground? Would you live underground? Would you live underground? Would you live underground? Would you live underground?
Which sounds like something a serial killer would say, honestly.
Yep. Murder capital of the world.
Yep.
Murder your spouse capital of the world.
Do you want to live underground? Please tell me you want to live underground. I'm going to make you live underground. You're going to live underground.
You're now living underground. Welcome to your dungeon. Welcome to your dungeon. Welcome to your dungeon. Yeah, people in Coober Pedy built dungeons by choice and then put themselves in it.
Real backwards country here in Australia.
Yeah. Not a bloomin' onion to be found.
Yep. Oh, the only other thing that was a little entertaining was on the way over, maybe like an hour outside of the city, we saw a sign. I don't know what it actually said, but the graffiti on it said, "Puke on cops."
Yeah, which is a wild sentiment for the middle of nowhere. Puke on cops? Why? To show them what ailment you have? Because you're clearly in an emergency situation.
Like, how would you even do that? What would provoke? Like, how would that interaction go?
What's the civil unrest about in the middle of nowhere? What is the...
What are you mad about?
Are the cops infringing upon your right to be, like, in the outback?
The cops don't have time to patrol the outback.
Yeah, there's no cops out here.
They got animals to do that for them.
There's no cops out here.
Yeah.
There's no civility. What unrest do you have?
Puke on cops.
Yeah.
That's just a fun little giggle there.
Yeah.
And I think that's all. I think that's all to be said about Coober Pedy.
Yep. Then we went back through Port Augusta on our way back and saw a fight.
Mm-hmm. An Aboriginal fight.
Yeah.
Got pretty wild.
Yep. They'd been doing some boozing. Mm-hmm. Then they were whipping some bottles at each other and throwing each other into traffic, and we're like, oh boy.
we were at a gas station, and this was happening right outside the gas station. So I went inside, and the workers were calling the cops, and they were like, they're hitting each other with bottles, they're driving away customers, they're now in the street just dancing and like also fighting and saying stuff we can't understand. Like, you guys need to get here right now.
Honestly, it was a pretty cool party.
It was.
It's what I expected out of the 10 military guys at that fucking bar. You know?
Exactly.
I was just like, oh shit.
Exactly. With like 3 cop cars showed up, almost blocked off the whole gas station, so we had to chill for a bit.
But they were mostly administering aid, it looked like.
Yeah, because they were cutting up each other because they were just throwing bottles.
Yeah, it didn't seem like anybody was getting arrested. It seemed like the paramedics came. Mm-hmm. I think there was one guy that was in a bad way. He was just laying in the middle of the parking lot. Something bad had happened to him.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
it was wild. It was just, and then we got out of there, and that's all we got to say about Port Augusta.
Yeah. Did we stay anywhere else?
We stayed at a place called Wagga Wagga.
Fuck, that's right.
We were also there. This was like the day before we got to Canberra, and so it was still Australian Day weekend. So we just did a little bit of walking, and it's just this town, kind of like 4 hours inland from the coast, and they had a river there that was disgusting. It was like murky brown, and a beach, like a little sand area, and there was a sign that said that it was Australia's number 9 beach.
Right, and we just come from Lucky Bay, the number 1 beach, which is on the coast. Now we're 4 hours inland, and we're at the number 9 beach?
It was the most disgusting thing. Number 9 at all of Australia? Australia's huge.
I think, here's my theory on this.
Give it to me. What do you got?
I think Australians are just so dumb that they think 9 is the last number. I think they just think like, oi,
this is the worst beach.
Number 9, it's the last number in the alphabet. So this is the worst one. This is where no animals can grow.
It's wild.
Yeah, the brackish water helps the plants to grow.
Right when I think I understand Australia, I see shit like that, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Speechless.
They gotta give Wagga Wagga something besides a crazy-ass name.
Wagga Wagga, I don't even know
how
to say it. But that, little small town, shout out to you. Do better.
All right, I don't think we have any questions for this week. We're about at 42 minutes.
Okay.
So?
You
got anything to close it out? What do we got to plug?
Nothing. We got a couple videos that are going to start coming out on the Tastemade travel channels. We got one we did in Adelaide, one in Port Lincoln, one in Coffin Bay, and we just finished up one for Coober Pedy. So keep an eye out. I'll share them. So you guys...
that's climbing the oval.
Yep,
right?
Adelaide Oval. That's diving, eco-friendly shark diving. And then we got Oyster Farm, where you can just go out into the ocean and eat oysters straight from the sea.
In Coober Pedy, a.k.a. Poo Poo Pee Pee.
Poo Poo Pee Pee.
Because that's how I feel about it.
So keep an eye out for those videos. And you got a couple shows coming up.
I do, on the 31st at Bookstore Q. Q Bookstore Barista. Barista Book Q Barista.
Just letters and words all mushed together.
On the 31st, and then on the 2nd, there's another show, and I forget where that is, but it's here in Canberra, so if you guys are looking for some comedy, look up where they got comedy night, and I will be there.
Yeah, we're not going to do the work for you.
Yeah.
You look it up.
You
come out if you want to.
Okay, you... Guys, and for all other things, Work Our Way, look for the Work Our Way YouTube channel.
Yep.
Go to our website at workourway.com. Follow us on Instagram at Work Our Way.
And write us, workourwaypodcast@gmail.com.
Yep, for advice, comments, critiques. Guys, we'll read your emails. We are needy. We want your attention. All right? And again, guys, subscribe. Give us a review. Write us a review, 5 stars, and if you could, get some other people to listen, because we like seeing our listenership grow.
Yes.
All right?
You guys are the best. We love you.
Keep on glistening. Keep on listening. All right. See ya.
See ya.